15 reasons why King Charles III is a modern monarch. It is no longer news that Charles is the King of the UK. He ascended the throne after the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, who ruled for more than 70 years. Unlike his mother, who ascended the throne in 1952, the reign of the Queen marked a transition between the 20th century world and the 21st century world. Now that Charles was taking over the throne, he had no choice but to upgrade the British monarchy to a 21st century world. Here is why King Charles III is a true modern king. Number 1. King Charles is a big fan of technology. King Charles is a big fan of technology and is not hiding it, as he promotes the use of technology in many aspects of life. This should not be surprising because our world is increasingly dependent on technology, which has continued to shape our world. As a king in this modern world that is heavily dependent on technology, King Charles would no doubt promote its use because the king, like many others, believes in the remarkable power of technology. He believes that if properly channeled, humans would benefit greatly from it. The king specifically focuses on the use of technology in education and environmental sustainability. In education, the king believes that the relevant application of technology is crucial to educating the upcoming generation of Britons. He has also advocated that digital skills be incorporated into the education curriculum of today. He believes that this would make them better suited to tackle the challenges associated with the 21st century world. In the world of sustainability, the king himself is a big fan of sustainability. He is often regarded by some as the first environmentalist king, which describes the king's enthusiasm toward environmental conservation and sustainability. The king is known to advocate the use of technology in helping to improve sustainability. Number 2. King Charles is an environmentalist. King Charles is an environmental activist who is known to advocate for environmental conservation. Environmental conservation is one key highlight of the modern world. This is because our world is struggling with the impact of industrialization, which has led to climate change. The industrialization has caused massive damage to our world, and for this, modern activists are increasingly taking a hardline position against aggressive industrialization. This means more and more emphasis is shifting to ecological conservation, with prominent personalities joining their voice to encourage ecological conservation. Among the world's notable personalities championing the course of environmental conservation is now King Charles. Before he became king, he was known for being a loud advocate of environmental conservation. Now that he is king, it is expected that King Charles would continue to advocate for environmental conservation. This undoubtedly would make him the first royal family head to do so. Before he became king, Charles sometimes used his time in front of business leaders to urge them to take collective action to tackle climate change by reducing emissions and adopting greener working practices. Number 3. His philanthropic activities set him apart. King Charles is known for his philanthropic efforts. This, of course, is surprising and interesting because, based on the antecedent of the royal family head, it is not too common. Philanthropic activities are one of the main features of the modern-day world. Many politicians and prominent people are involved in various philanthropic activities, and this would get bigger even as the sovereign joins the long list of prominent people involved in philanthropic activities. King Charles, before his ascension, had a network of philanthropic activities that cut across different sectors, including health, education, and his favorite, environmental conservation. King Charles does his philanthropic activities through his NGO, named Prince Trust. The organization is involved in various philanthropic activities in different parts of the world, including Britain. They have partnered with the following: Avoided Deforestation Partners, Breakthrough Breast Cancer, Children in Crisis, and many more. Number 4. King Charles is loud on cultural preservation. The royal family is a family with lots of traditions and cultures that are age-long. These traditions and cultures are usually preserved from generation to generation, and this is because it is usually passed down successfully to the next generations. That said, King Charles spent a long time learning about the cultures of the family. Due to the fact he spent many years waiting to be king, King Charles is vast in virtually every culture of the royal family tradition and culture of Britain. He has also been active in promoting the preservation of cultural heritage and supporting various initiatives to protect historic buildings and sites. As the head of the royal family, King Charles advocated this cultural preservation, particularly to the next generation, which would, of course, lead to the continuity of the culture. Number 5. King Charles would champion interfaith dialogue. There is no doubt that for most of the history of England, they have been mostly religious. England used to be known as a Christian state, with the past King of England helping to advance the course of Christianity with his translation of the King James Bible. Also, as a custom, the head of the British royal family is usually the ceremonial head of the Church of England, signaling how entrenched the royal family is with Christian tradition. However, British society is increasingly getting liberal, and the general perception of the populace is increasingly getting alienated from the historical Christian tradition of Britain and the royal family. With King Charles now the head, he would be faced with striking a balance and advocating for interfaith dialogue. The need for interreligious tolerance has never been this important in the history of Britain, particularly with the mass migration of people from different parts of the world. This, of course, would require King Charles to promote mutual understanding and mutual respect so that there can be peaceful coexistence. The king has seen this necessity and has committed himself to interreligious harmony, championing this course even before becoming king. Number 6. The king loves multiculturalism. King Charles, as the new king of Britain, would be ruling over modern British society, which is heterogeneous and diverse. It is a fact that British society has never been this diverse and heterogeneous when compared with how society looked in the past. The change British society has witnessed is attributed to the mass migration of people from different parts of the world. This migration has made British society more diverse. Fortunately for Charles, this is the type of society the king would be ruling over. With King Charles taking over the leadership of the royal family, King Charles is set to promote multiculturalism. This is true when we consider King Charles before he ascended the throne. He is well known to promote cultural harmony. King Charles is also a vocal advocate of diversity, as he supports various initiatives that promote social cohesion and inclusivity. Number 7. King Charles is already modernizing the monarchy. King Charles is more of a liberal personality that is open-minded. He is well exposed. This is seen in how enthusiastic he is about the use of technology. He also has the zeal to modernize the British monarchy. However, he intends to do this while still preserving the cultural heritage of the country. King Charles plans to do this by reducing the number of staff working with the sovereign. This has already begun, as some of his former staff were laid off after he ascended the throne. He also plans to ensure that his new staff is conversant with the rules and ethics of the modern-day world. This would ultimately help them function better in various capacities that reflect modern society. Number 8. King Charles is a huge fan of small businesses. British citizens would be thrilled to have a king such as King Charles, who is passionate about small business. Small business is one of the backbones of the British economy. Before he became king, he was known to organize luncheons for small businesses. This was usually done to encourage small businesses and boost their activities through networking. This has even continued after he became king. The king, through his charity, the Prince's Trust, also routinely advocates that Britons launch their business so they can be financially independent. He believes that young people can be what they want to be if they are equipped with the relevant skill, knowledge, and adequate motivation. The king believes that many of the problems facing small businesses are a result of a lack of motivation or loss of confidence in entrepreneurs. He is committed to helping the young ones overcome this. With King Charles now the ceremonial head of the United Kingdom, we probably might expect more and more policies in the days to come that favor small business. Number 9. King Charles loves education. When it comes to education, the United Kingdom is not taking the back seat, as they have some of the best schools in the world. People come from different parts of the world to study in Britain because of the quality of their education. Even with the high standard of quality education, Britain now has a king who is very much vocal about education. The vocal interest of King Charles is a point of interest to many who are aware that the royal family is not a fan of formal education. However, King Charles is the first member of the royal family to obtain a formal education. King Charles studied at Trinity College, Cambridge in 1967, where he read history, archaeology, and anthropology. He graduated with a 2:2 bachelor's degree 3 years later. This means that King Charles is the first monarch of the royal family with a formal degree from the school. This must have impacted his life and altered his perspective on education. Recently, during a special edition of The Repair Shop, the king met students from the Prince's Foundation Building Craft Program, a training initiative that teaches traditional skills such as blacksmithing, stonemasonry, and wood carving. The monarch said, "I still think the great tragedy is the lack of vocational education in schools. Actually, not everybody is designed for the academic. I know from the Prince's Trust, I have seen the difference we can make to people who have technical skills which we need all the time. I have the greatest admiration for people. I think that's been the biggest problem. Sometimes that is forgotten. Apprenticeships are vital, but they just abandoned apprenticeships for some reason. It gives people intense satisfaction and reward." Number 10. King Charles has healthcare plans. King Charles is known to be an advocate of many things, including healthcare. He has been doing this even before he became the king. In 2015, it was reported that a draft report by the UK government on health and climate change was facilitated by the then Prince of Wales. Although many activists criticized him for undue interference in government activities, but this evidence shows how passionate the king has been about improving public health. In response to the allegation, the Office of the Prince of Wales clarified that the then prince was merely raising issues of public concern and trying to find practical ways to address the issues. Now that he is king, we probably might expect more lobbying from him. King Charles would also be expected to push an initiative that would make healthcare more accessible and improve its quality in the UK. Also, the king is expected to push for complementary medicine to be integrated alongside conventional state-run healthcare services. Number 11. King Charles will support innovation. Innovation is a characteristic feature of our modern world. It is the bedrock of today's technological advancement that we have witnessed so far. It is safe to say that innovation is the hallmark of exposure and enlightenment. Unlike previous sovereigns who ruled in an era of less innovation and industrialization, King Charles would be ruling in an era marked by massive innovation. This, of course, would set him apart from other monarchs. For him to have a successful reign, he would need to embrace innovation to keep up with the ever-dynamic and innovative world we find ourselves in. Charles, before he was king, got himself involved in many innovation projects, particularly in the area of sustainability. He had many initiatives that supported and promoted research and development in various fields, including science, technology, and agriculture. King Charles, through his foundation, supports many innovators, particularly young innovators in a push to change our world. However, because the king believes more in sustainability, more of his innovative support has been towards coming up with innovative approaches and ideas that guarantee sustainability. The king believes that we shouldn't destroy the future just because we want to satisfy today. Number 12. He would be involved in international relations. International relation is a typical feature of modern government. The need to maintain international peace and stability is a focal point. In the last century, international relations were pretty bad, and this was what caused the wars the world witnessed. But with humans getting more civilized and globalization raging on, the need for international relations is increasingly getting important. King Charles, who is the head of the royal family and also the ceremonial head of Britain, has a role to play in international relations. This is because, with Charles being the ceremonial head of Britain, his duties are largely ceremonial, and he would be expected to contribute to international relations. For example, the king is the head of the Commonwealth of Nations. The Commonwealth of Nations is a group of countries that were former colonies of Britain. Overall, the king is expected to mediate in some activities aimed at promoting peace and cooperation between the UK and other countries. He is also active in promoting international relations through diplomacy for other nations, which may be under the Commonwealth of Nations. However, it is important to note that the king is expected to be politically neutral on matters of the nation. Number 13. King Charles is a big believer in social justice. One of the current emphases the world has witnessed thus far is social justice. Social justice has been a recent revelation that has been ravaging the world since 2020, and this could be attributed to the death of George Floyd, who was murdered by a U.S. police officer in Minneapolis. Immediately after his death, a series of protests rocked the U.S. and the UK in solidarity for the brutal murder of George Floyd. The protest has since then metamorphosed into a social justice agenda that is now sweeping the US and UK. The good thing is King Charles isn't left out. Even before he became king, King Charles is a big fan of social justice and believes in equality before the law for every race. During the George Floyd protest, which was sponsored by Black Lives Matter, Charles, as Prince of Wales, was in support of the course. It was said that he inquired how Black Lives Matter could bring about social justice reforms. Apart from racial reforms, which King Charles has backed in the past, King Charles was also known to protect the interest of other minority religions. The reign of King Charles would surely be about, among other things, reducing racial inequality and improving social mobility. Number 14, he would support mental health. The reign of King Charles is sure to raise awareness for mental health. Mental health is one of the most serious medical conditions in our world today, but the need to raise awareness to prevent stigmatization has never been important. Although notable personalities around the world have joined in helping to raise awareness for mental health, this awareness is set to increase as the ceremonial head of Britain joins a host of others in raising awareness. We know this for sure because he has always been a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. He has supported, in times past, initiatives to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health issues and improve access to mental health services. These activities would increase with Charles being the king. This is timely because it has been reported that 1 in 4 persons in the UK is living with mental health. This could be worse. However, with the support of the UK government and the king, hopefully grounds would be covered in mental health issues during his reign. Number 15, King Charles's reign will promote resilience. King Charles has on numerous occasions emphasized the importance of building resilient structures in the face of environmental and societal challenges. And this is what is needed at a time like this when the world is facing an unprecedented range of natural disasters that have made many homeless and killed millions of people around the world. These issues are modern world issues, and the king is set to lend his voice with that of millions around the world to ensure that our world is not destroyed. King Charles, through his various initiatives and those he supports, is constantly innovating ideas on how to build sustainable communities and reduce vulnerability to disasters. King Charles believes that when these ideas are put in place, our world could be saved. King Charles's whole idea of preventing environmental disasters and making the world a better place is based on massive education about climate change and its impacts. He believes if nothing is done about the negative impact of climate change, we might not have anything left for our children unborn. In conclusion, the reign of King Charles would be interesting, as he is expected to champion a lot of modern courses that would change the world. We can only hope that he succeeds in championing this course and has a successful reign. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. We hope you have learned 1 or 2 lessons. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section and be sure to check out the next video. Bye for now!